Welcome to the beautiful Mayan Riviera on the west coast of Mexico. We're in the resort city of Cancun for this week's stop on the ITU World Cup Tour. It's a venue that has become a classic fall stopover for triathletes from around the world. It's round 15 of the 2006 World Cup circuit, the second last event of the season. Unfortunately, the weather has not cooperated with organizers as a storm front moved in just prior to today's race, making for windy and rainy conditions out on course, just as the field of 83 women were set to hit the choppy Gulf of Mexico waters. A large field of women are ready to race here in Mexico, including Lauren Groves from Canada, who's had 6 top 10 finishes already this season and now has that added pressure of being a top contender at each event.
I look at the races this year differently. No pressure on myself. I really just go as hard as I can from the start to the finish, and you know, if that's a top 5, then that's great, and if that's like in Hamburg with a broken toe, a 13th, that's great too. So I'll just do the best that I can. I tend to do well in the heat, but I am coming from Boulder where it's very dry and cold right now. So this is a little bit the opposite. I'm almost sweating just sitting right here. But I think we're all in the same position. I don't know too many people who have come from hot, humid climates this time of year.
Laura Bennett is one of the strongest swimmers in the field and one of the only women actually looking forward to the high surf as a distinct advantage.
Big waves for me are great. I love having variables in the swim. I think it brings out the swim, you know, whereas a lot of the swims are dead flat. The non-swimmers can keep up no problem. And again, it makes it exciting and fun, which, you know, that's what you want out of every race. The competition's always there and always hard, so that's consistent. But when it's more entertaining, it just brings out more life and more game to the race, which I really prefer.
Joelle Franzmann currently sits at number 2 in the world rankings, and a top showing here could seal that spot for the young German who's had a great season so far.
Yeah, it's very good because you can sit on the bike and you can relax and think, okay, I'm a good runner and I can do it in the run. And the last years it was not so I'm a little bit happier about this, but I have to improve. And Hamburg next year is very flat, and yeah, there you have to run faster than I do now, and I tried.
It's a different course facing athletes in Cancun this year as organizers have moved the location further down the coast. However, the general design and character remains the same, beginning with a 2-lap 1,500-meter ocean swim, made more difficult today by the strong surf and crashing waves. Following that, athletes tackle a flat, fast 7-lap bike course covering 40 kilometers of smooth paved road. The final stage of the race includes a 4-lap 10-kilometer run over a similar course to the bike, and with dark clouds looming, weather could be a factor. With one of the biggest fields of the year on hand in Cancun, these are a few of the ones to watch, including Groves of Canada, current world number 2 Joelle Franzmann, teammate Anya Dittmer, and top runner Andrea Whitcomb from Great Britain. And now, here's Barry Shepley with today's race.
Well, as the season has continued on, each of the fields have gotten larger, and today over 80-plus women. There's Laura Bennett in the blue just getting ready to take off, and we know that she'll be a major factor here, still in the running for the $250,000 BG World Season ending bonus pool. 26-degree water temperature, and really likely the biggest factor today, other than the competition, is the likely rain that is supposed to be coming. It has rained on and off throughout the entire week through the World Team Championships as well as the World Corporate Championships. And there's Laura Bennett already pushing the pace. Spent a significant amount of her time in college swimming and running, and it has done her very well as she's got into the sport of triathlon. Just towards the top of the screen, the Hungarian athlete Vanek is going very well. Vanek raced in the World Team Championships as well. That championship won by Team Italy. And as we now start to take a look a little further back, you can see the women already starting to spread out in just the first 300 meters. Sarah Haskin leading the charge right now, number 15, and she has made some significant improvements this year, proving that the U.S. have a next generation of women coming up behind the paths of Barb Lindquist and Sheila Taramina. And as they start to come around the far end turn buoy, you can see how aggressive it is right now, 3 and 4 deep. They're just past the 350-meter mark, and this is really where the women have equal swimming abilities as they get back in about 15th to 20th spot. It's difficult to pass. You don't want to get dropped as well, and that really is a major factor. Back up towards our leaders right now and focusing in right there on a woman in her very first ever Olympic distance race. Kirsten Sweetland of Canada, the world junior champion for 2006. She absolutely dominated every race she was in throughout the season, winning both the Pan Am Juniors, the Canadian National Juniors, and a number of very elite races as well. Itachi from Japan will be first out of the water, but they are very tightly bunched as they start to come through. Laura Bennett and Kirsten Sweetland, both very tightly bunched towards the lead group. We'll start to see Franzman coming out of the water very quickly. There's Bennett back around. 750 meters, Adachi will win the swim preem right now. As our group of women, there's Sarah Gruff coming through. Leanda Cave in a great position as well as she comes back out of the water. Going back in right now, you can see there are a dozen women all within just seconds. Moniz from Portugal into that bunch. There is Anya Dittmar and Julie Swale as well. So very tightly bunched as our women go back into the water. But two significant names that were much further back included Nadia Cortesa from Italy, as well as the Canadian athlete Lauren Groves, and they both have had some weak opening 750-meter legs. They're going to have to push it this second lap. And it is just over 18 plus minutes, so as they're coming back out of the water right now, and the rain just starting to come down. Laura Bennett, Sarah Gruff into that bunch as they come through, Sweetland into the group as well. They are approaching the last 150 meters. Harrison just out of the water right there, so she's had a good swim. Carol Pion from France into that group, Leanda Cave as well. So the big players, including Franzman, out of the water, all with less than 15 or 20 seconds. And there's Adachi from Japan. They've had about a 150-meter run. You can see the wet pavement, so is already starting to get slippery out there. Sarah Haskin in second place, so she moved out throughout the last stages of this 1,500-meter swim. Continuing to have the Italian Nadia Cortasa and the Canadian Lauren Groves well back, so they may not even make the chase pack right now. They're that far away from shore already. But there's Sarah Haskin, here comes Laura Bennett, and quick transitions are going to have to be important right now. A small group, if they're able to get away, would be significant on this course. Look at Bennett, helmet on, in and out in about 9 to 10 seconds. That's a world-class transition, and the rain now starting to come down. We had anticipated it, and we have seen some very, very thick rain come down throughout the week, almost torrential where you couldn't see anything, and then 5 minutes later it was back up to being perfect again. One of the people with a great swim today included Andrea Whitcomb. So Whitcomb from Great Britain, who has worked so hard on her swim throughout the season, right now has gotten out into that lead pack, and that's exactly where she wants to be. The women just trying to get into the pedals, most of them still riding on top in their bare feet as the rain now starts to pour down.
After a challenging swim, it was no surprise that the top swimmers in the field were out in the lead, including Haskins from the US, Duffy, and Laura Bennett. Further back, Andrea Whitcomb was out in 11th place, a great swim for the Brit.
You can now see the rain starting to accumulate in the curb lanes, and this will become dangerous throughout the next couple of laps, so women are going to have to really pay extra special attention. Adachi from Japan trying to push the pace, as well as Leanda Cave, and both of those women working very well right now. Back to our first chase group, that is Elizabeth May in the white, the woman who got the bronze medal at the World Cup race in China, and Moniz from Portugal, the young talent there on the junior women's side. Very flat on this course. In fact, there is just one small elevation change, and we're seeing it right now. It is a small little bridge which allows the boats to go into the inner harbor. They've just climbed over it. It's only about a 4 or 5 meter elevation change, and that is it on the entire course. Right now you can see Chase Group 2 and Chase Group 1 just about to come together. So we've got about 9 athletes into that main chase group, and then our leaders, about 18 or 19 of them, are about 35 seconds ahead up the road. And as they come around these corners, it'll be extra special attention paid, because those tires, most of them, if they're wise, would have let a little bit of the pressure out of the tires today to have some extra traction on this wet course. And you can see right there Nicole Spirit head down, really pushing the pace. Chase 2 and 1 coming together right now, and the athletes will be looking around to try to figure out who in fact is in their pack. who is still up the road and who is behind them, because we know behind includes the likes of Nadia Cortasa and Lauren Groves. There's Groves just coming through the picture right there, and she'll be disappointed right now that she is not up with the leaders. Nicole Spirik pushing the pace right now, and she has had a great season. Spirik, the past silver medal at the 23 and under World Championship. She's also been a world gold medalist as a junior duathlete. Well, you are not going to find tougher conditions to stay on your bike, as the elite women of the 2006 season continue to deal with the relentless rain. We're back to the chase group. There's Carolyn Murray from Canada just going through the screen. And you can see by the incredible rain continuing to come down here during the rainy season in Cancun, the elite triathletes of the world in the second last race of the season being thrown another environmental curveball. Well, that's Nicole Spirik, and we're into lap 5 of 7. And as she weaves across the road, it is one purpose, and that is to try to get a couple of the other athletes off her wheel and to start to do some of the pulling at the front. Spirik looking over her shoulder, and she is hollering back at those teammates, giving some gestures saying, look, it's your turn. I've been pulling a tremendous amount of the day. And as we look back now to the chase group, they are going to gain some confidence to realize that they are starting to get a little closer to the leaders, and the leaders right now are being very disjointed. Not going to be out there for too much longer. The women will be another 10 kilometers and out on to the start of their 4-lap, 10-kilometer run. And it might simply be a benefit today if they're able to keep this cloud cover, because we have seen some tremendously hot conditions over the past few years here in Cancun. There's Adachi from Japan, the woman who led out of the water. And as the athletes work hard, the volunteers working even harder to try to keep the course clean.
Earlier in the week, in less than ideal conditions, the second ITU Team Triathlon World Championships took place here in Cancun, and the top athletes from around the world representing teams from 8 countries were in attendance for a chance at the world title and their share of a $50,000 prize purse. This is a fast and furious relay-style super sprint championship in which each of the 3 team members must complete a 250-meter swim, a 6.6-kilometer bike, and a 1.6-kilometer run before tagging their teammate in the exchange area. In the women's event, the Canadians took an early lead with a strong performance by Kirsten Sweetland and Lauren Groves, but were forced to withdraw after the second leg. The Italians, anchored by Nadia Cortasa, picked up where the Canadians left off, and with her dominant run, Cortasa cruised home to victory into the arms of her ecstatic teammates. Michelle Lindsay was able to secure second place for the United States, and Ainhoa Marua from Team Spain crossed the line for third. Next up, it was the men, with 8 countries represented and all the big names from the ITU circuit on the starting line. The stage was set for an exciting and very fast race in front of a big crowd here in Cancun. The German team, one of the favorites, had Jan Frodeno on the first leg, and he did not disappoint, putting in a solid performance to put Germany into first place going on to the second leg, just ahead of Spain's Javier Gomez, the current ITU World Cup points leader. Matt Reed from the U.S. put in the performance of the day, though, coming up from the third place spot to take the lead, outpacing both Daniel Unger from Germany and Jose Tovar from Spain. Over the run, he increased his lead by over a minute, and coming into the exchange area would hand off to Andy Potts, who held on to first place to secure the Team Triathlon World Championship title for the United States. Mike Petzold crossed the line for second, and Canada's Paul Tichler managed to hold off Spain's Ivan Rania for third. And so, congratulations go to Team Italy and to Team USA on their victories and the emergence of Team Triathlon.
Into our final lap now, lap number 7, and that is Sarah Haskin from the U.S. looking over her shoulder, seeing if she can get anyone to come with her, and that's Spirik trying to make an acceleration, another one of the U.S. teammates as well. So a small little mini break here with about 4 kilometers to go on this final 40-kilometer ride. Not sure what kind of a benefit that's going to give these athletes, but Spirik, who has been able to really put it together in the last couple of years, particularly in the 23 and under development racing. Our chase women coming through some very deep water, so as aggressive as they want to be to try to catch up. Look at the spray just coming up off the tires, 1 to 3 centimeters deep. It is so flat here in Cancun, no place for the water to go. Back up to our leaders right there, and that's Adachi from Japan. The woman that led out of the water today, winning the swim preem, and the Japanese team have really been impressive this year with a number of new athletes who have showed some world-class ability, particularly on the swim and the bike. Into the last stages now, and the women will have to start to worry about taking on some fluid and getting ready for that 10-kilometer run. And this little bit of reprieve today with not as much direct sunlight likely to lead to some faster run splits. Nicole Spirik continuing to be relentless in the lead group, and she's trying to stay ahead of this bunch. There's Elizabeth May right there. Lauren Groves, the great runner, and Nadia Cortasa, and all 3 of these women fantastic runners, but they're going to have a hard time making up that 75 to 90 second likely gap they're going to have off the bike. Back up to our leaders right now. You can see a little bit of sunshine coming out. That is Leanda Cave, the past world champion from Great Britain. She had a number of great races in 2002 and 2003. 2004, she won the World Cup race in Korea, and then an injury took her out for most of 2005, but back this year with a bronze medal in Hungary. And you take a look back to 2002 as she ran down Barbara Lindquist in the last few kilometers to win her first and only World Championship right here in Cancun. Some very courageous rides out there as the rain just letting up a bit, and you can see a group of about 20 plus of our lead women coming in right now. Spirik into that bunch, Leanda Cave, Franzmann from Germany, Anja Dittmar will be into that group, Jessica Harrison and Carol Pion from France, and there's Laura Bennett just coming into our screen. Closest to us will be the German athlete. First out, however, will be our Spanish athlete, Anoa Morard, right there heading off. She is an incredibly talented runner, and as she pushes the pace right now, these women are going to have to respond because she has had some very fast runs over the last few years. A number of people in a great position coming off the bike, including Andrea Whitcomb. So right now, our young Spanish athlete has not been in this position in the past. She classically is not out of the water into the lead group.
The leaders coming off the bike included a who's who of top starters, from former world champion Leanda Cave to early favorites Laura Bennett, Joelle Franzmann, and Andrea Whitcomb, all poised to take the lead on the run.
Just past the 1 mile mark now, we've got a group of about 7 athletes running side by side. Whitcomb accelerating into the front, our Spanish athlete into there. I can see Harrison. There come the German athletes trying to make their inroads. And you can see Andrea Whitcomb on the far side next to the Spanish athlete. Pion from France into that bunch right there. There's Laura Bennett. Very aggressive. Sarah Haskin trying to stay up, and she looks a little more aggressive in her running form. Into lap 3 now, and it's Anja Dittmar and Joelle Franzmann. The 2 German athletes are coach off to the left right there, just giving a little bit of input. And as they start to accelerate away, it is time now for these athletes to find that last gear, because the 2 German athletes really look very comfortable as they're pushing through the 7-kilometer mark. Laura Bennett being pushed off the back right there, just ahead of her, her teammate Julie Swale, who's having the best race of 2006. Swale was off with injuries for a good portion of the season. Even though she continued racing, she was not up to her best form. Looking back right there to Leanda Cave, falling off the pace. Jessica Harrison as well. So some of these women showing a little bit of fatigue, but Anja Dittmar, the woman who had 6 World Cup wins over 2003 and 04, showing the great form that she had back in that season, the 2-time Olympian. And right now she's coming off of a silver medal at the European Championships, a couple of silvers already this year, but she would love to get on top of the podium one more time. Mira being dropped off the back right there, the Spanish athlete. She's got about a 20-second gap back towards Andrea Whitcomb, and we look back up to our leaders, and the 2 German women less than a kilometer from the finishing line look like they are very comfortable right now. And here comes Andrea Whitcomb back there in 4th spot. She is trying to accelerate up to the Spanish athlete. And right now we may have the best battle of the day for 3rd and 4th place. Look at the fatigue right there on the faces of these athletes, and the cloud cover certainly looks to have been a benefit. And a high five from the 2 German athletes. Franzmann on the right of the screen, and Dittmar now just starting to accelerate away. She is renowned for her great sprint ability at the end of a race. Anja Dittmar right there, her mother a 110-meter track star back in the 70s. Her father a great paddler for Germany, and her brother a 4-time Olympic medalist. Coming up from behind right there, Andrea Whitcomb in the blue, Mirar from Spain in the darker blue. Together, those 2 women right now sitting in 3rd and 4th. There's less than 300 meters to the finishing line. Only 1 more medal up, so these 2 women are going to have to dig deep to the last stages here in Cancun. It is Andrea Whitcomb from Great Britain. To the right of her, Mirar from Spain, as we take a look now up towards the last few meters of this 2006 BG World Cup Triathlon. It will be Anja Dittmar who's going to claim victory, but the real battle is for 3rd as Whitcomb digging in deep. Here comes Mirar from Spain back. She is not going to give this up without a fight, and now seems to have the 1 more gear it's going to require to win. Anja Dittmar from Germany will finally, after 2 years, add another victory to her title, but the battle for 3rd continues on. Mirar from Spain now with less than 200 meters to go. Here comes Andrea Whitcomb, but as we take a look to the finishing line, it'll be 1-2 for Germany as Anja Dittmar crosses the line. 2:01:53, 35 minutes and change for her medal for the run. And here comes Whitcomb on the toes. Franzmann will claim her medal here in the silver medal performance. What a great job, but Andrea Whitcomb has saved her move for the end, and she has timed that sprint to perfection. Whitcomb from Great Britain will add another medal along with her 2 golds to cross the line here in 3rd place. Mirar from Spain will cross in 4th. Julie Swale in 5th place, the race of her life on the World Cup circuit, and young Flora Duffy from Bermuda will cross in 6th. Just a world-class day for Germany as Franzmann and Dittmar cross the line on the podium.
Without a victory since her last win in Cancun back in 2004, Anja Dittmar was elated to be back on top of the podium in 2006.
Yeah, actually 2 years ago I won my last World Cup here in Cancun. So yeah, I'm really happy that after 2 years I finally won a World Cup. Well, it's really hard to win a World Cup since Vanessa is there, and now I'm really happy that I could win today. I'm a good sprinter, and we raced together so many times that her only chance to beat me is to push really hard the first case, and if she don't drop me till the end, well, I always won the sprint, and yeah, she knew it, and yeah.
Despite the challenging weather conditions, Joelle Franzmann was ecstatic with her result today because with it, she solidified her position as the 2nd best in the world.
Yeah, the waves were very high, and I didn't see a buoy at any time. I swim on the feet of the others, and yeah, on the bike it was very wet and very windy and horrible, and on the running then it's getting warm, and it was very hard today. I tried all the time to run away from the group, and then Anja in the 3rd loop, Anja saw this and she comes in front and we run together, and yeah, I know that Anja's a very good sprinter, and so I didn't try to win this because she's so strong, and I was happy with the 2nd place.
It's been a long season without a trip to the podium for Andrea Whitcomb. That was until today, when she managed to use her running prowess to capture the bronze medal.
Well, I was just thinking if I could just hang on, maybe I might be able to sprint at the end. I wasn't too sure because I was feeling really tired, but as it got nearer to the finish, I started to close in, and then I realised I might actually be able to get 3rd. I'm so pleased because I've had 2 wins but never had anything else, and I haven't had a podium this season. I've had quite a lot of 4ths and 6ths this year, so it's really nice to get a 3rd eventually.
Cancun caps off a strong season of racing for Andrea Whitcomb, who grabbed her 1st podium of the year with a 3rd today, while Joelle Franzmann locked down 2nd in the world rankings with her silver medal placing. But the victory went to teammate Anja Dittmar, who proved the strongest on the day despite challenging conditions, and winning her 2nd consecutive Cancun World Cup title after last year's event was cancelled due to weather. Taking a look at the final results, here's how things stood after the final athlete crossed the line. Dittmer, Franzmann and Whitcomb locked down the top 3 placings, while Ricarda Lisk managed to sneak another German flag into the top 10 ahead of other top contenders like Italy's Nadia Cortazza and Bennett from the United States. Following Cancun, the world rankings summed up like this. Vanessa Fernandez has a lock on the #1 spot, while Franzmann now has 2nd spot all sealed up. But it's still a race between Snowsill and Dittmer for 3rd in the rankings, and those final standings won't be officially confirmed until the last event of the season. The men's race featuring world #1 Javier Gomez and top American Andy Potts is coming up next.